Welcome to Wednesdays with Wayne, and I'm here with Dana. This is really a great time of the year to do some planning for your landscape for springtime.
Yeah.
And Dana, let's tell everybody why we think it's important.
So our typical customer comes into the garden center on a regular basis and say you're wanting help figuring out what should I do with the front of my house or a particular portion of your yard. And so we're just going to give you a few tips of things to think about before you head into the garden center to get that help with your design.
And I think some of the first things you have to consider, of course, is just the site itself.
Yes.
You have to know whether you've got clay or silt or sand, so what's the drainage, and especially also what is the light.
Yes, very
Is
important.
it full sun, 6 hours or more? Is it part sun, 2 to 6 hours? Is it shady, 2 hours or less of
Mhm.
full sun? So coming in with those circumstances would be great. We have to know where the plants are going to be. And I think you have some really cool plans here, but obviously this is a little more extensive than what the homeowner would bring in.
Correct.
But we want some basic things for them to bring in.
For sure. Especially just knowing your dimensions or your measurements of what you're working with. And even sometimes sitting it down and thinking about how the beds should flow in your yard, if you have a particular idea and kind of drawing or mapping that out, is super helpful for us to kind of see where you're heading with this project and how we can help you choose the proper plants for that space.
We have some you can zero in on these, but we got some scale drawings. These are obviously computer generated. Even if you come in with a hand drawing that's actually to scale, that would be really helpful,
Hmm.
as you mentioned. You can kind of see in these plans how you see the top of the house and you see bed lines here, you see the lawn and so forth. This really helps to give a cohesive look to the entire landscape.
It sure does.
And it's kind of important to know some of this background. As you take a look at the plants too, let's go on to this plan a minute. You notice that the little circles are drawn, they're drawn to scale, and this is for spacing.
Correct. So we like to plan things out at almost mature sizing. So that way, when you put the plants into your planting bed, you know that over time as they mature, they're going to fill in that space and not become overgrown or become a big maintenance issue over time.
That's why it's important to have that measurement. Like if we know we've got 12 to 15 feet, then we're spacing things 3 foot apart, and it might be five different shrubs or
Mhm.
five shrubs in a group that
For
actually would
sure.
be spaced there.
Yes. And even if you're working with some existing landscape and you're just trying to fill in around it, it's always good to kind of map out what is there that's staying so we kind of have an idea of how much space you have to work with around your existing landscape as well.
I know this is just a quick primer. There's a lot more to it. There's color and texture and sizes of plants and seasonal interest.
Hmm.
So there's a lot more to it, but that's where we kind of help out in the garden center.
Yeah.
So again, coming in, giving us the basic picture, some
Hmm.
basic measurements for your space, what you're filling in, what are some of the requirements, what you kind of like, and then the staff can really help out selecting either just one or two plants or actually designing uh, 5 or 10 or 20 foot front of the house, that sort of thing.
Correct. Yep.
So thank you for joining Wednesdays with Wayne, sponsored by Niemeyer's Landscape Supply. And remember, beautiful landscapes start here.